The definition of a documentary film is a broad category of visual expressions that is based on the attempt, in one fashion or another, to document reality. Central to documentary is the notion that it focuses on and questions actual people and events, often in a social context. It is an informative documentary which purports to offer factual information and will often make a case, present an argument, or advocate a solution based on the concept. Tim O'Sullivan suggests that every media text tells some type of story. Narrative uses diegesis and verisimilitude to construct a real story. Every story must have verisimilitude. By doing this, it must follow the rules of continuity, temporal, and spatial coherence. Verisimilitude is the quality of appearing to be real or true. Diegesis is the fictional space and time implied by the narrative, which is the world in which the story takes place. This means that the story must appear to be real to us for it to engage us. The verisimilitude within the text will help the documentary to appeal to my audience because it is documenting someone's real life, meaning it will be realistic. It is set in modern day times. This means that it again is realistic because it is in the world we live in now. Narrative can therefore be used by documentary producers to document real life. I have reinforced conventions of real media text in my documentary. Claude Levi-Strauss, 1958, believed that all stories operated to a certain clear binary opposition. The importance of these ideas is that essentially a complicated world is reduced to a simple structure. Things are right or wrong, or good or bad. There is no in between. The binary opposition in our documentary is between males and females. Because the project is based on sports, it might be stereotypical that mainly boys will be interested in it. This means that it will show a bias between the reporters that are involved in the project. For example, the project is mainly made up of boys because girls wouldn't be not that interested in reporting on sport-related stories, for example, rugby games or interviewing players. Technical elements such as the mise-en-scène could also be used to create binary opposition. The location was the Rotherham Rugby Club, which is home to the Rotherham Titans, or out and about at sporting matches. These are generally places where you would find males. Other texts that have binary oppositions of male versus females are other things sports related, for example, football matches shown on TV or documentaries on cars, as it is stereotypical that only men are interested in mechanics and sports. Michael Rebiga suggests a list of criteria that a documentary must fulfill. In our documentary, it tells a good story and develops the audience's knowledge of the project's supporter to reporter. These make the documentary more interesting for the audience. If a documentary doesn't include any of these criteria, it goes against the conventions that Michael suggested all the documentaries include. Documentaries appear to make the known appear strange and interesting. Because this is an informative documentary, it is non-fiction. Umberto Eco, 1981, states that text can have open and closed meanings. An open meaning is ambiguous and not easy for the audience to understand. The meaning is more hidden than straightforward. A closed meaning is the total opposite, as it is easy for the audience to understand. Our documentary has a closed meaning, as it is easy for the audience to understand what it is about. It is about a nationwide project that is based on giving young people the opportunity to get involved with sports journalism. The mise-en-scène helps to create this closed meaning as the location is based at a rugby club. This provides the audience with a clear indication that the documentary is something sports related. The camera shots are filled with long shots, medium close-ups, and pans. Long shots help to establish the location. Medium close-ups were used to focus on a presenter, as this is where the audience eyesight will be. I included the rule of thirds when interviewing anybody, as this is more effective and draws the audience's eyes to the person being interviewed. This reinforces the conventions of real media texts. For our interviews, we have also used the rule of thirds. By positioning their eyeline on the third line, it makes the audience focus more on the person being interviewed. This is a common trait used in documentaries. Throughout the documentary, we have included pans and shots of our location, i.e. the sports facilities. These are used to let the audience know what the documentary is about. They are also aesthetically pleasing. I also looked at similar documentaries to make sure I was copying the code of conventions in an effective way. For example, I discovered through research that other sporting documentaries often include some professional, well-known stars. We used the stereotypical trait and used footage of the supporter to reporters interviewing well-known Rotherham Rugby Club players. Our documentary will be aimed at a demographic audience who are predominantly young males aged 13 and plus. We chose this mass audience because boys of this age are stereotypically, Carl Rogers, interested in sporting events. We gave our audience the active role in the documentary by giving them the opportunity to get involved. We asked Maggie, the Trialine Centre organiser, how people at home could get involved. They have an active role in the creation of meaning in the documentary. As an audience, we have an active role to play in the understanding of and creating meaning within the text. This will help link the construction of identity within the documentary, as the demographic audience can relate and empathise with the characters as they are virtually the same. Carl Rogers, 1980, also states the theory of ideal self, which connotes that the presenter is who the audience aspire to be. By using a presenter who is roughly the same age as the young people involved in the project, it promotes the idea of ideal self because the audience can empathise and/or relate with the presenter. Our documentary could also be viewed by older people such as parents and teachers. We made sure that it appealed to these people as well as by making it informative and interesting by using interviews with professionals and organisers and leaders. The use of a narrator behind the camera to anchor, rolling parts, and link the audience and the presenter together. Usually, the presenter is somebody that the audience can identify with. Therefore, we have reinforced the conventions of real media text.